I did not have sexual relations with that woman. These allegations are false.
On the heels of a sexual assault lawsuit.
Tonight, R. Kelly is facing charges for sexual abuse spanning more than a decade.
More women worldwide have come forward to accuse producer Harvey Weinstein
to the arrest tonight of the former CEO of popular retail.
Top 10 freak-off kings. Let's go.
Hi, would you like to buy some Girls of America cookies? What are you watching? Oh. You're gross. You're a sick man, and I'm gonna tell.
And tell you shall, young lady. And let's start with number 10, Nigel Lithgow.
Nigel Lithgow is exiting So You Think You Can Dance. On the heels of a sexual assault lawsuit filed by Paula Abdul, a statement from the TV exec who worked with the singer-choreographer as an executive producer on American Idol and co-created So You Think You Can Dance, no decision has been made as to a replacement judge for this season. This comes less than 1 week after Paula filed a lawsuit under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act. In her December 29th filing obtained by E! News, Paula alleged that Nigel groped and kissed her without her consent. She also accused the 74-year-old of sexually assaulting her again years later. She alleged that Nigel invited her to dinner at his house, quote, to discuss other opportunities for the two to work together, but that toward the end of the evening, he forced himself on top of her while she was seated on his couch and, quote, attempted to kiss her while proclaiming that the two would make an excellent power couple. The 61-year-old is suing Nigel for sexual assault, sexual harassment, gender violence, and negligence.
Were you just twerking, Nigel? You might not be guilty of this case just yet, but you are guilty of being a freak-off king. Get him a crown. And we also have a gift for you. Number 9, we got Mystical. I do not know what to say about Mystical. Take a look for yourself.
First at 6 o'clock, Mystical, a well-known rapper on the wrong side of the law tonight. His third rape arrest over the past 2 decades.
He didn't show the victim any sympathy, and he doesn't get any sympathy or special treatment.
Well, Mystical has now been indicted, and that is for charges of rape and kidnapping.
Come on now, Mystical. That's your second one in your life, bruh.
His bond is set at $3 million. Whew.
You catch one rape charge, shame on you. Catch 2 rape charges, shame on me.
That could put him away for life if he's convicted.
To my baby and my little babies, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry that things went the way they went. I'm sorry I broke down the way I did. And I want you to know that I'm sorry. I regret that. And
a woman claims she was raped, robbed, and held against her will by a man whose fame did not provide him any favors. Tonight, Mystical sits in the Ascension jail accused of charges that could put him away for life if he's convicted.
Now, she's the one who said openly in a statement that the woman that is accusing Mystical of these rape and kidnapping charges was lying. Here's what she said to TMZ.
Ain't nobody did nothing to that girl. She even told me, and yes, I got it on record, that she said ain't nobody did nothing to her. She trying to protect her boyfriend because she ditched him all night to be with another.
Right, Mystical did serve 7 years after being convicted of sexual assault back in 2003.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, I don't know if you're a rapist or not, but where there's smoke, there's fire, unless somebody's smoking a blunt.
I don't know about Mystical. What y'all think? It's a little hard to believe when your number 1 song is like, show me what you're working with. But that still doesn't make him guilty. For rape case after conviction after your apology does. With that being said, we got a crown for you and a couple of gifts. Enjoy them. Next, we allegedly have a guy who put the F in freak. Mike Jeffries, number 8. Let's take a look.
CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, arrested on sex trafficking and interstate prostitution charges. That is according to a spokesperson for federal prosecutors. The information coming in just moments ago here. Now, details of the criminal charges not immediately available, but they do come after years of sexual misconduct allegations.
Prosecutors say at least 15 men came forward, saying that over the span of a decade, Jeffries, his partner, and an employee had lured them to parties under false pretenses and forced them to perform sex acts that they did not want to perform.
Sexually exploiting vulnerable human beings is a crime.
Prosecutors fear that Jeffries and his partner might flee the country They're asking that Jeffries be held in a $10 million bail.
Unlike Diddy, Mike was granted that bail, and he's home free now fighting his case. With that being said, Mike, you know we got a crown for you and a few gifts. Use them well. Don't do anything while you free, Mike. As a matter of fact, take another one with you, Mike. Coming in next, at number 7, is Mr. Jello Pudding Pop himself, Mr. William Bill Cosby. Let's take a good look.
Spanish Fly was the thing that all boys from age 11 on up to death, we will still be searching for Spanish Fly.
That's right.
And what was the old story was, if you took a little drop, it was on the head of a pin, and you put it in the drink.
Coca-Cola, don't matter.
It doesn't make it, and the girl would drink it, and
she's yours.
Hello, America.
Bill Cosby charged for the very first time. More than 50 women have come forward accusing the legendary comedian. And today he was brought into court, facing a criminal charge linked to one alleged case of indecent assault from 2004. What the other alleged victims are saying now, what the judge said to Cosby. Ryan Smith was inside the courthouse during his arraignment.
We are here to announce today charges that have just been filed against William Henry Cosby.
Accused by over 50 women of sexual assault, drugging, or rape, faced the very first criminal charge levied against him in a Pennsylvania courthouse.
There's Bill Cosby, who is now found that he is going to be serving 3 to 10 years behind bars, walking out of the courtroom. This is the first time we've seen him. He is in handcuffs as he's being led away by the deputies there, his spokesperson in front of him, and he's surrounded now by Montgomery County officials and officers who are leading him out of the courtroom, presumably into an official vehicle to be driven to one of the jails.
And Bill Cosby did serve about 3 of those years, give or take. But the way he said that, hello, America, you know we got a crown for you, Bill. And you know what? Take a 6-pack. Be sure to stick around after number 10. We got a bonus freak-off king that we gonna shed a little light on. And we got one that thought we forgot about him. No, sir. Comment below if you think number 6 should have been number 1, Sean Diddy Combs. But like Mike Jeffries and Nigel Lithgow, Diddy is presumed innocent until found guilty. They are all 3 charged. Well, besides Nigel Lithgow, he just has allegations and Paul is suing him. But Diddy did make the word freak-off very famous nowadays, so of course he's on this list. Let's take a look and see why.
New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week.
This morning, watch how federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs. His lawyer said Combs had come to New York 2 weeks earlier with the intention of turning himself in. He did not expect the agents to be waiting at his hotel last Monday night.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
That used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
Combs, who lived in this $50 million Miami mansion, is now in an isolated unit of a federal jail in Brooklyn known for miserable conditions. At the center of the case, this 2016 video obtained by CNN that depicts Combs attacking his then-girlfriend, the singer Cassie, and then dragging her back toward a hotel room.
They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. They also seized evidence of the freakoffs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freakoffs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freakoffs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
Diddy with that coat on and freakoff being the term of endearment for you, you know we got your crown ready for you. It took us a while, but we managed to get your order as well. Enjoy. Although we don't know if you'll be found innocent or you'll be found guilty. We don't know, but we do know you are free. You had 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Although he have never been charged, the man, the myth, the legend, Hugh Hefner himself, number 5, would have made number 1 because he's the original king of the freak-offs.
Now Carissa and Christina are making disturbing claims about what was going on at the mansion, including the allegation that they were expected to have sex with Hefner the night of their 19th birthday.
Did you think that you would be having sex with Hugh Hefner that night? No.
Carissa and Christina were 18 when they got the offer to star with Hefner in The Girls Next Door, replacing the original cast that included Holly Madison and Kendra Wilkinson.
Hef wrote a letter, old school, and he said, I would love for you guys to be my girlfriends and to move in with me and film The Girls Next Door show.
We got twins here.
Hi.
Carissa says she was shocked later when she learned she was pregnant with Hefner's baby.
Monroe had actually been paid just $50 to pose in the nude way back in 1949 for a calendar. Ashamed, she did the shoot under a fake name and begged the photographer never to reveal it was her. Once she became famous, though, Hefner bought the rights to the photos for $500 and used them to launch his empire, all without ever even meeting Marilyn. In 1985, for instance, he published nude photos of Madonna from 1979 when she posed as an artist model. And in 1987, it was Vanna White whose old modeling photos were exploited, despite the fact that White and Hefner were friends at the time.
He was my friend. He said, we're going to put you on the cover. I said, Hef, if you put me on the cover, my career could be ruined, and they did it anyway.
Hefner compensated his girlfriends by paying them $1,000 a week to live with him in the Playboy mansion and giving them all the free plastic surgery they wanted. And the allowance ritual was especially degrading. Hefner would have the girls line up in his bedroom every Friday and essentially beg for the money while he publicly reviewed their performance.
At age 26, she agreed to marry the 86-year-old Hefner. Crystal also reveals living at the Playboy mansion was like being in a prison. She says Hefner even enlisted security to keep her there.
I tried to just go take a walk, but when I got to the end of the security area, I heard him on the speakerphone. He had called down and basically told them if I try and leave, not to let me.
She compares her decade-long stay at the mansion to being in a cult.
It'll be a grand party, the party of the year, an unforgettable weekend.
Take care. I wish you had a present for me.
Well, I do. You're going to be really surprised.
Thank you.
Hugh Hefner passed away in 2017, but dropped his first issue of Playboy in 1953. He's definitely an original freak-off king. With that being said, enjoy the custom crown. Now, Darren Sharper had it all. Athleticism, women begging for autographs every Sunday, but he threw it all away.
Former NFL star who's gone from the locker room to the courtroom, and this has Arizona ties.
Darren Sharper officially charged with rape today in California. This is video of him in court just hours ago. We've also confirmed he's being investigated for similar charges in our state, Nevada, and Louisiana.
Steve, it happened back in 2013, November of 2013, but police say they have been waiting for drug tests and for DNA testing. In fact, they're still waiting for that DNA testing.
Former NFL player and 5-time Pro Bowler Darren Sharper kept quiet in a Los Angeles County courtroom where he's being charged with drugging and raping women.
Both woke up the following morning and they didn't know what was going on, but they felt that they had been sexually assaulted.
Both women passed out so cold, Tempe police say the last thing they remember were those drinks, but both went to the hospital where doctors confirmed they had been raped. The glasses they drank from tested positive for Ambien, a sleeping drug.
Nunez, Darren Sharper, and former St. Bernard Parish Sheriff's Deputy Brandon Licciardi were all indicted in December and charged with rape and other crimes. Here's how it breaks down. Sharper will plead guilty to 2 counts of forcible rape and 1 count of simple rape here in Orleans Parish. He'll be sentenced to 20 years. Sharper will plead no contest to simple rape in Los Angeles, and he'll also receive a 20-year sentence in California. Earlier today, Sharper pleaded guilty to sexual assault and attempted sexual assault in Tempe, Arizona, and he was sentenced to 9 years. And Sharper will reportedly be sentenced to 8 years in Nevada for allegedly sexually assaulting 2 women in Las Vegas.
It's being called a global plea deal covering 4 states. Former Saint star Darren Sharper will be sentenced to close to 6 decades in prison for drugging and raping women.
I don't know what was wrong with Darren. He's definitely on another level. State to state with it, so he's the freak-off king for sure. Yes, so we got your crown and a little gift for you, D. Enjoy, man. Next coming in is no stranger. He was all over the news in 2008 like Diddy is now. Coming in is the Hollywood freak himself, Harvey Weinstein. Let's see why he was found guilty.
It's a scene many of his accusers never thought they'd see. Harvey Weinstein, a man used to walking red carpets, now in handcuffs, doing a perp walk.
To lure young women into situations where he was able to violate them sexually.
His smile vanished in court as he was formally charged with 2 counts of rape and 1 of a criminal sexual act. It's been 7 months since his behavior, long rumored in the industry, became national headlines. Lucia Evans was one of the first to tell her story. Like so many others, she says Weinstein used his powerful position in the entertainment world to lure her to a meeting, where she says he forced her to perform oral sex.
More than 70 women have come forward with allegations against Harvey Weinstein, ranging from rape to sexual harassment. And that long list includes some big names in Hollywood: Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie, Kate Beckinsale, Ashley Judd, Salma Hayek. But one of his first accusers was actor Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan alleges Harvey Weinstein raped her. She says she never thought she'd see him in handcuffs.
More women worldwide have come forward to accuse producer Harvey Weinstein of sexual misconduct. Actress, director Asia Argento and 2 Italian models say they were sexually assaulted by Weinstein. British actress Lisette Anthony told police last week that Weinstein attacked her in her London home in the 80s. Courtney Love has also spoken out. A video of the rock star in 2005 came out showing the star warning young women in Hollywood about the movie Titan.
Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party in the 4 Seasons downtown.
It's a little high. So another thing I was thinking is Sarah, I don't know how much you were involved, but the Sarah Jessica Parker movie with Skyrocket. Some kind of app thing. I don't know, never mind. It's like a buy the look, where they wanted to, in the trailer, they wanted people to be able to buy her clothing, so they partnered with Outlook.
When you go to the kitchen, you adjust the angle of the computer. Why? I knew that I was losing the ability to control the visitors and keep it professional, so I had entered that fight or flight mode, and I was scared of him.
I'm gonna go edit a movie, but I'll meet you somewhere. Meet you for a drink.
Melissa says Weinstein came to the hotel lobby and told her to follow him. She assumed they were going to a conference room, but it was Weinstein's hotel room. There, she says, he raped her.
Yeah, essentially what happened in court today, Aaron, is that Harvey Weinstein, a 70-year-old man in very poor health, just found out that he'll be spending the rest of his natural life behind bars.
Did you see the way Harvey was rubbing that girl's arm? Come on, man, he wasn't paying attention to nothing she was saying. Harvey was on some freak stuff. Harvey, you know we got your crown, and we got a little special size bottles for you. Man, enjoy. Let's take a look at number 2. Mr. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind, R. Kelly.
Tonight, R. Kelly is facing charges for sexual abuse spanning more than a decade, from 1998 to 2010.
Earlier today, Robert Kelly was indicted before a Cook County grand jury on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. involving 4 victims.
Prosecutors say 3 of the alleged victims were between 13 and 17 years old. Geronda Pace is one of them. In January, she told Dateline she began a relationship with Kelly when she was 16.
If I didn't agree to having sex with him or performing, I would be locked in a room.
The charges come a week after Michael Avenatti said he gave authorities a video showing Kelly having sex with a 14-year-old girl. Avenatti says he represents 2 alleged victims. One was included in today's indictment. For years, the singer has been under suspicion of sexually abusing young women. In 2008, he was acquitted of child pornography charges. 52-year-old Kelly has consistently denied all allegations against him, and his lawyer has said Kelly never knowingly had sex with anyone underage.
Love man hip-hop star R. Kelly did indeed marry his protege, the 15-year-old singer Aaliyah Houghton. Kelly stated his age is 27, 2 years older than he previously claimed to be.
Kelly faces child pornography charges from a 2002 indictment. Authorities believe they have a videotape showing Kelly having sex with an underage girl about 8 years ago.
We want him prosecuted. We want him in jail. There's a tape of him urinating and having sex with a young girl.
Kelly has settled 3 lawsuits accusing him of having sex with underage girls.
Prosecutors say Kelly made 4 videos that showed sex with minors, and he had reason to know they would be shared over state law. The New York indictment also says Kelly forced his sexual partners to follow certain rules. They couldn't leave their rooms without asking for permission and were required to call him Daddy. Kelly is also accused of engaging in sexual activity without ever telling his partners that he had an STD.
But we do begin tonight with singer R. Kelly, sentenced to 30 years behind bars after his conviction on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Prosecutors accused him of leading a criminal enterprise of managers, bodyguards, and other employees to recruit and abuse women, underage girls, and a teenage boy.
R. Kelly is number 2 because he settled out of court 3 different times for minors. So you know we got your crown with 3 of the largest jars of Johnson & Johnson we could find. Not to mention marrying Aaliyah when she was only 15 years old and he was 27. And alleged videotape of him urinating on minors.
Number 1.
Thanks for the heads up, Brooklyn. Yes, we've made it. We finally here. And we're going to take a dive and we're going to look a little closer into why number 1, Jeffrey Epstein, is the freak of all freaks.
Learning more about the arrest of Jeffrey Epstein, a Manhattan billionaire arrested yesterday on federal sex trafficking charges. This morning, the doors of his Upper East Side mansion broken in. That's after investigators raided his place looking for evidence.
Epstein is already a registered sex offender. His attorney made a controversial plea deal with prosecutors back in 2008 for lesser crimes. The charges stem from incidents between 2002 and 2005 happening both here in New York and at his home in Palm Beach, Florida, that Epstein would allegedly pay teen girls to give him a massage and then perform sex acts on him. Sources say there were dozens of victims. The teen girls were encouraged to recruit their friends.
By the time I was 16, I brought him up to 75 girls, all the ages of, 14, 15, 16, people going from 8th grade to 9th grade at just school parties is where I would recruit him from.
All Jeffrey cared about was go find me more girls. His appetite was insatiable. He couldn't stop. He wanted new, fresh, young faces every single day.
I was 16.
I was 16.
I started going to him when I was like 14, 15, 14 turning 15.
If you think at 14, $200, that's a lot of money at 14 years old. I mean, that's a lot of money now.
She's like, oh, do you need to make any extra money? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, I can give you like $200. There's this older guy in Palm Beach. He gets a lot of massages from girls.
In some cases, there were victims that didn't know each other, had never met each other. They had basically the same story.
I remember there was a staircase, and it was kind of like a spiral almost.
And she brings us up the stairs, and it was like spiral stairs.
You walked into his bedroom, around his bed, to almost like a very little hall, and then it was another door. And that's where everything would happen.
That's when he said, okay, you can go ahead and take off your shirt and pants.
to pull his nipples and to play with them in between his fingers. And also while I was playing with his nipples, he kept doing that stuff to me. But he was very aggressive.
You know, before you know it, I'm being linked out to politicians and to academics and to people that royalty and people that you would never think, like, how did you get into that position of power in the first place?
Jeffrey was a well-known party guy. In fact, his parties in New York and his other favorite haunts were the stuff of legends, featuring a mix of powerful and influential people from various industries, from Hollywood celebrities and models to politicians and scientists. His guest list was a who's who of the elite.
Happen. One individual commits one abuse of a minor, in one instance of abuse of a minor, and they're held accountable for years and years through the criminal justice system. This individual abused hundreds of girls, and nothing happened.
Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein remains behind bars today on the latest child sex charges lodged against him. Epstein's arrest last week has put the spotlight on a private Caribbean island he owns, one that some have dubbed the Island of Sin.
Sir, is this where the young girls were brought?
Breaking news this hour, officials say multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein has taken his own life in a New York jail.
Yeah, Epstein pleaded not guilty in July. That was to charges of trafficking dozens of underage girls, some as young as 14 years old, forcing them to have sex with his powerful friends.
There's a lot of people who say that Jeffrey actually didn't commit suicide. There's a lot of rumors that maybe Jeffrey was killed due to the fact of a lot of people in high places who wanted their identities concealed, and Jeffrey could possibly expose them. I don't know if he committed suicide or was murdered, but we do know he's a freak. Enjoy. As promised, I got those honorable mentions for you. First, we got Mr. $5 footlong himself. You remember Jared, the Subway guy? Well, he couldn't keep his hands off of the children. So in 2015, he was sentenced to 15 years. Next, we got that guy, Mr. Africa Bambaataa, who throughout the years, there's been all type of allegations about him messing around with young guys. So I just wanted to make sure that we give these guys a tour and crowns. Definitely freak-off kings. Speaking of freak-off kings, what do you think? Did we get it right? Was I on point? Who did I miss? Who should have been number 1? Who should have been number 10? Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, share. Peace.